Take two, since my mic's on this time. From the Business Insider, Walmart has hinted that it's building crop pollinating robots. Leanna Garfield reported on this on March 14, 2018. Walmart has filed a patent for a robotic bee that could potentially pollinate crops like real bees, because we don't need real bees. We need everything to be fake. The patent could signal that Walmart is looking to have more control over its food supply chain. Its food supply chain? Or the food supply chain in general? I'm going to go with the food supply chain in general. That sounds more like Walmart. You know, they are a profit over people corporation. They don't care about nobody. I know that because guess what? Walmart fired me this year because I refused to wear their fucking mask. I'm not your slave, Walmart. I won't do what you tell me I have to do because you're not a doctor. Other organizations are also developing pollination drones to help offset the decline of the bee populations. You know, the biggest problem with the bee population is this one company called Monsanto that has recently been bought out by Bayer. And Bayer is a drug company. So, something to think about. Like an episode out of the Black Mirror, Walmart has filed a patent for autonomous robotic bees, technically called pollination drones, that could potentially pollinate crops just like real bees. Quit poisoning the real bees and we wouldn't have a problem with that. But hey, what do I know? I'm just some dumb white guy. Drones would carry pollen from one plant to another using sensors and cameras to detect the locations of the crops. You know, bees do that naturally. Amazing. First spotted by CB Insights, the robot bee patent appears along 5 other patents for farming drones, including one that would identify pests and another that would monitor crop health. Walmart did not immediately respond to Business Insider's request for comment. I wonder why. While Walmart's exact goal for these patents is unclear, they may signal that the company's hopes to venture into agriculture and gain more control over its food supply chain. Let me rephrase that for you. Walmart hopes to gain more control over the food supply chain. Control the people, or control the food, you control the people. This would make sense considering Walmart has recently focused on improving its grocery delivery business. Yeah, we need to have robots do all of this stuff because, you know, that'll put even more money into the corporation's pocket. Then they don't have to pay as many people. They can get one person out there to do everything to freaking, not even that. They don't want people working no more. They want all the profit. They want all the power. They want all of us to be their slaves. On Wednesday, the retailer announced that it will expand its grocery delivery this year to over 800 stores that will reach 40% of U.S. households. In some locations, the service will offer same-day delivery in as little as 3 hours. In January, Walmart has also filed a patent for an online grocery shopping service that would allow shoppers to accept or reject produce picked by Walmart employees. Why would you have somebody else pick your fruit and vegetables for you? Come on, people. What is the point of having somebody else pick your food for you? And even on the busiest day, I can get into Walmart, get out what I want, and be back home in under 3 hours. But ever since Walmart fired me this year, I haven't spent a fucking dime with those pieces of shit, and I probably will never ever spend another fucking dime with them because anything they sell I can buy anywhere else. And besides that, if you're buying from Walmart, all you're doing is supporting China. You might as well just give all your money to China because all the shit that Walmart sells comes from China. Walmart is not the first organization to create a robot bee. In recent years, scientists have searched for solutions to the decline of honeybees, which pollinate nearly 1/3 of the food we eat and are dying at unprecedented rates, largely because of a phenomenon called colony collapse disorder. In 2017, however, these deaths declined from the prior year. They started declining because people started noticing that the poisons was the ones killing him. And more countries out, not the U.S., but out in Europe and stuff like that, some of those countries have straight up banned the use of Monsanto products called Roundup, glyphosate or some shit like that. But yeah, you can consider that stuff poisoning our food, and if our food's poisoned, then we're being poisoned. Harvard University researchers introduced the first robo-bees in 2013. At the time, the bee-sized robots could only fly and hover mid-air when tethered to a power source, but they've advanced since then. Today, the robo-bees can also stick to surfaces, swim underwater, and dive in and out of water. And if they can carry pollen, what else can they carry and land on you and give you? I wonder. I don't know. Maybe it's a conspiracy. Oh yeah. Speaking of conspiracy, the word that people use for conspiracy is not the word that's supposed to be used because it's just not the right word. Oh, and I just realized something. I'm a dumbass. Here, let me okay, maybe I'm not a dumbass. I am now. There we go. Yeah, I'm a dumbass. I was looking at my picture. Oh, but interestingly, there's a nice little video here. 5-minute long video. Let's see what they have to say about it.
Bees might not be your favorite insects out there. After all, their stings can really hurt. But as far as important species go, bees are near the top of the list. You see, bees are critical pollinators, meaning they're responsible for pollinating more than 1/3 of the crops that feed the world's population. But today, bees are dying off at record rates. So what would a world without bees look like? And what would that mean for our global food supply? Well, if all the bees on Earth suddenly dropped dead tomorrow, things wouldn't look good for our planet. And that's because pollination is critical to the health of our global ecosystem. It's what allows plants to reproduce and grow the fruits and vegetables humans need for a balanced diet. And the thing is, bees are some of the best pollinators out there. In fact, they've co-evolved with flowering plants over millions of years to become pollinating.
Yeah, until man decided to make poison.
Of course, a lot of them are fuzzy, so they have hairs or specialized equipment, so to speak, where they can store pollen.
Bees help pollinate the reported 84% of crops humans eat that are insect
So 84% is 1/3, right?
This accounts for a staggering 235 to 577 billion in annual food production.
And they want all that
Without bees
profit
and
for
other
themselves. They don't want to pay
supermarket
nobody.
shelves would hold about half the fruits and vegetables they have now, transforming the produce section from this to this. We wouldn't have luxuries like almonds, apples, or avocados.
We would also suffer in terms of dairy production. We use alfalfa to feed dairy cattle, and dairy cattle, of course, produces the milk, and the milk is used to produce many dairy products that we eat. When I talk to the kids, all the kids are very disappointed to hear that we might need to lose ice cream.
The extinction of bees
nice
could
little
have
smile
a
on her
disastrous
face.
domino effect, killing off animals that eat those plants and so on up the food chain. Luckily, humanity wouldn't face a global famine like you might expect.
We wouldn't necessarily starve to death because there
Oh,
are a
no,
lot
they
of
got their
plants
fake
that we
meat
do
and their
eat
fake
and we
foods.
depend on that are wind pollinated, including, for example, wheat.
So, if the bee apocalypse does hit,
Oh, so we're
we could
supposed to
still
eat
meet
wheat?
the daily calorie needs
We'll
of
be
our
eating
global
wheat for the rest of our
population.
lives. Okay.
Diets, however, would suffer in major ways, as foods that provide key nutrients for our bodies would become scarce and extremely expensive.
A lot of the plants that we eat that are dependent on animal pollination do provide the necessary micronutrients that improve our health. We would probably be very sickly. So, for example, let's just think about citrus, right? We would probably have issues with scurvy, if you think about it. I guess you could really supplement that with vitamins, but again, definitely not all of the vitamins can be as easily accessible to the body as they are when you're actually eating them.
According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the work that bees do for U.S. farmers is worth about $15 billion a year. So without them, the cost of produce would skyrocket.
Especially those who are socioeconomically
No,
challenged.
without bees,
They already
Walmart
have
would be
hard
making that
times
$15
accessing
billion
the healthy
a year
foods, So
pollinating.
this would probably impact them even worse.
And we could be closer to a beeless future than you might expect. In 2018, American beekeepers reported losing 41% of their colonies. And worldwide, it's been dying off at
40.7 is
record
not
rates for the past
41%.
decade.
Honeybees, at least in the
close,
past
but it's not.
12 years, have been declining about up to 45% annually in some cases.
Scientists haven't pinned down an exact reason for the sudden decline in the bee population. However, likely reasons are global warming,
Nope,
overuse of pesticides, and parasitic varroamites, which spread viruses to
that's
bee
probably part of it too, and I'm sure that's made by
Right now,
man.
countries around the world are working to monitor bee colonies and even create new pollination methods using robots.
There are researchers who are trying to develop drone pollinators. So using drone technology to pollinate flowers, it all would most likely be more costly.
So what can the average person do to be more bee-friendly? Well,
Quit using
if you have a
Roundup,
garden,
quit poisoning
plant a
your
range of flowers
everything.
so wandering bees can have access to nectar throughout the year.
Bees that we have that are wild bees, that are native bees, a lot of them actually nest in soil. So leaving bare ground for those bees is really useful if you're redoing your lawn, for example. Providing access to water would also be very helpful for the bees, and reducing pesticide.
Right there is the main cause. That needs to stop. They're poisoning the food, which in turn poisons the bees and kills them. Well, if the food's poisoned by that, and we're eating that stuff, don't you think it's possible that food is poisoning us and also causing diseases in us? I bet it's highly likely.
Input, if at all possible.
While steps are already being taken to save the world's bee population, there's still a lot to be done to protect Earth's most buzzy pollinators.
Yeah, and the biggest thing to do to stop and protect the bees is quit using the Roundup poisons. Thank you.